Hello everyone, this is Al Red Sox Fan coming to you from Al Red Sox Fan YouTube channel. Hope all is well. And we're back with our Quick Play Football 64 teams from the first 32 Super Bowls. This is Bracket 2 Football Championship Tournament. Bracket 1 is complete. I shall not spoil it. It's up on the channel if you would like to watch on demand. We will now play through Bracket 2, 16 teams in Bracket 2. And we'll see who shall advance to the Final Four. Again, Bracket 1 is complete, up on the channel, on demand. Enjoy. A clash of Super Bowl participants from Super Bowl 1 to Super Bowl 32 from the 1966 Green Bay Packers up into the 1997 Denver Broncos. Can four-time runner-ups like the Vikings or Bills find redemption? Or will the power teams such as the Packers... Damn it, I didn't change that again. The Packers, not the Pacers, the Packers, the Steelers, and the Cowboys stand upon the podium at the conclusion. So grab a drink, a snack, and pull up a chair and enjoy. All right, let me write a note to myself to change Pacers to Packers. Alrighty, we'll change that. That'll be all set for Bracket 3. And when it goes on demand. Alright, let's get to Bracket number 2. A lot of great teams. They're all great teams. Remember, these are the Super Bowl winners and runners-up of the first 32 Super Bowls. No slouches here. So our first matchup in Bracket 2, you win, you continue to advance, you lose, you're done. The 1973 Minnesota Vikings, who would lose to the Dolphins. The Dolphins would go to 3 consecutive Super Bowls. Remember, they lost to Dallas. Then they would have their undefeated season in 72 when they beat the Redskins. And in 73, they would win their second Super Bowl in 3 tries by defeating the Vikings, led by Fran Tarkenton, Chuck Foreman, and Ed Marinaro. So the Vikings were a very formidable 12-2 NFC champions, taking on the 1991 Redskins, who were 14-2. The Redskins would beat the Buffalo Bills. As we know, the Bills lost 4 consecutive Super Bowls. So this is our first matchup, Bracket 2. The Vikings will be purple and white dice, and the Redskins red and yellow. Now, I've already explained some of the rules in our first video. I'll quickly do it again. The first roll is on defense, and you will read, say, the roll of the Vikings. If it was an 11 on the defensive column, it says 6. That's 6 points the Redskins would score off the Vikings defense. And then when you roll on offense, again, if we look at the offensive column for the Vikings, and if they rolled an 11 for offense, that means they scored 7, and rinse and repeat for the other team. So the first roll will be the defensive roll, and who will get the advantage? 2 really stout defenses here, as they both, it looks like on this card, 136 defensively for the Vikings against a 188. But the offense for the Redskins of 91, a tremendous advantage. I give the Redskins an edge here. I would make them a 5-point favorite. So we roll for defense. The Vikings, the Purple People Eaters, the Purple Gang, a 12 on defense. How much will the 91 Redskins led by Mark Rippon score? That's a 12, and they can only muster a field goal on the 12, so they get 1 field goal. The Redskins on defense roll a 43, and the Vikings, behind Tarkenton and Chuck Foreman, score 10 points. So a touchdown by Foreman and a field goal by Cox, and it's 10-3. Could the Minnesota Vikings a runner-up advanced to round 2 in bracket 2. So we will roll for the offense. A very close game here. 10-3. We roll for the O. A 42 for Tarkenton in the Viking offense. A 42 on offense. They can only muster one more touchdown. A short flat pass to Ed Marinero. He takes it in from 13 yards out. Extra point. Good. So 7 more points added to the Vikings. We'll do the double check of 42. It's only 7, so it's 17-3. We now look at the Redskins offense, which was much more prolific. 15. And it's not going to be prolific enough. They only get 1 touchdown, and the Vikings, a runner-up, will advance to round 2 with a 17-10 victory over a Joe Gibbs-led Redskins team. Remember, Joe Gibbs led the Redskins to 3 Super Bowl championships, to 4 overall. They would lose to the Raiders in '83. But Theismann won 1. That's 1 quarterback. Doug Williams would win another one. And Mark Rippon, 3 different quarterbacks. Quite a feat. Thrice-A-Roni is in the chat. How you doing, my friend? Thrice-A-Roni, a card-collecting treat. Check out that wonderful channel. Congrats to Thrice-A-Roni. He's well over 1,000 subs now. He's going to continue to grow and grow. Such a happy, positive channel. Tremendous, tremendous. So thank you very much. If you have not subscribed to him, please do so. A fellow member of, we consider him the FOC, Friends of the Community. So, the Vikings, a runner-up advances. Let me just tell you, only one other runner-up advanced. And let's do a copy and a paste, and we'll just put them over here for now. And we'll adjust later. All right, so the Vikings of 73 defeat the 91 Redskins 17-10, a very close game. We now move to game 2 in bracket 2, and it's the Cinderella Los Angeles Rams led by Vince Ferragamo, Wendell Tyler, Cullen Bryant, Billy Waddy, and a very stout defense. The Youngbloods, they weren't brothers. And Reynolds is on this team. Fred Dreyer, I believe, is actually still on the Rams at the time, too. They would be defeated by the Steelers of 79 in the Super Bowl. They actually had the lead going into the third quarter, mid-third quarter, and then the Steelers would end up beating them by 19. So the Rams were 9-7. They were a Cinderella story. They upset the Cowboys in the playoffs, and then Tampa Bay, Dave Gardner's beloved Tampa Bay Buccaneers, in the 79 NFC Championship game, and would lose to the Steelers in the Super Bowl. They face off against the 73 Dolphins, who, as we know, defeated the Vikings, who just won, coming off their in 1972 undefeated season. They would only lose 2 games, so in 2 seasons they were 26-2. The Dolphins were. Dolphins led by Bob Greasy, Larry Zonka, Jim Kick, Mercury Morris, Twilly, Paul Warfield, and that no-name defense. Nick Bonacani, Springfield, Massachusetts native, who just passed away. God rest his soul. And I would say a big advantage here to the 73 Dolphins. Tremendous defense and a much better offense. So a big advantage here. I would make, again, I made the Redskins a 5-point favorites. They lost. I would say 7 points, Dolphins. And we're going to change the colors here. The Rams will be blue and yellow, their dice. The Dolphins will be aqua and white. We roll for defense. The Rams roll a 25 on defense. How many points will the Dolphins get? Their ground and pound with Mercury Morris, Larry Zonka, Jim Kick. The short controlled passing game by Bob Greasy. 25. And the Dolphins put up 14 points on the Rams' defense. That's a good start for the Dolphins. The Dolphins roll an 11 on defense. They shut down Vince Ferragamo and the Rams. No points scored by the Rams. 14-0. Dolphins looking good. We roll for the O. Rams 32 on their offensive portion of their card. 32. Only a field goal. The Dolphins will win. It's only academic now. They can only muster a Frank Corral field goal, 14-3. And now we will get the rest of the score, 16. 10 more points put up. A short Zonka touchdown run, a Garrell your premium field goal, 24-3. A stout beating the 73 Dolphins put on the underdog, a heavy. I gave them a 7 points, so they covered the spread in my book, obviously. 24-3, the 73 Dolphins over the 79 Rams. So the Dolphins advance. And they're a 12-2. And let's just put them here, and then we'll adjust later. Paste. And they will play the Vikings. So it's a rematch of Super Bowl 73. That's quite interesting. A rematch of 73, so the Dolphins will be the home team in that one. That's pretty funny. We get a rematch of a Super Bowl. We now move to Game 3 in Bracket 2. And we have the runners-up of 1981, the Cincinnati Bengals, who lost a close one to Joe Montana and the 49ers in the Super Bowl. Against the 1974 Pittsburgh Steelers, the Steelers would make their first appearance in the Super Bowl in 74, defeating the Vikings, who were slight favorites, actually. Cincinnati 12-4, the Steelers 10-3-1. Again, a very stout defense for the Steelers. There's on the defense on their card, 176 compared to Cincinnati's 295. But the offense, Cincinnati slightly better, 532 against 411. The Cubs, the Bears is in the chat along with John St. Baptiste. Thank you for stopping by. As the Cubs, the Bears says, Jim Longer, all-pro center for Miami, died. Yeah, he just passed away. I did see that. God rest his soul also. So they've lost two all-pro fantastic players in Nick Bonacani and Jim Longer. Thank you. I forgot to bring that up. And remember, check out John St. Baptiste's channel, All Things Music and much, much more. Also partners in crime with Johnny B. Crazy on Cylon Johns. Thank you for stopping by, my friend. Hope everything's going well with your move and new job. All right, so we have the Bengals. Again, we don't have orange, which disappoints me for the color in the dice. So the Bengals will be... What color can they be? They're going to be white and white. Usually that's what I go with when I don't have the right color. I wish we had orange. We should have orange. They're going to be white and white. The Steelers, yellow and black. So a battle of Central Division rivals. That's yellow and yellow, Al. That's not yellow and black. Yellow and black. There we go. Now we're on the same page. We roll for defense. The Bengals, 46. What will the Steelers, really a very ground and pound offense with Blyer, Franco Harris and company. So a 46 by Cincinnati. They can only muster 2 Roy Gerela field goals. So 6 points for the Steelers off the Cincinnati defense of 81. The Steelers, 65. Cincinnati gets a touchdown. And it's a tough run after a long drive. Pete Johnson does the Nestea plunge from 1 out. Extra point good. So 7-6. A close slobber knocker here in Pittsburgh. Now we roll for the O and see who shall advance. Cincinnati should have the advantage here. 36 on offense for Cincinnati. 13 points. So they have 20 points. Anderson to Collinsworth. And then 2, I believe it was Jim Breach field goals. I think it was Jim Breach who kicked for them then. So they have 20. Steelers roll a 62 on offense. They could get knocked out here. 62. And they're gone. The Steelers lose to their hated central rivals, Cincinnati, in an upset, 20-13. Again, when we saw how close it was after the defensive rolls, I did say Cincinnati had the advantage on offense, and they sure did. A close game, hard fought, but Cincinnati comes into Pittsburgh. The 81 Bengals defeat the 74 Steelers. They are out. Cincinnati advances 20-13, so they move on to the second round of Bracket 2. Remember, bracket 1 is complete. We did it an hour or so ago. It's up on the channel now on demand. I won't spoil it. Enjoy. So Cincinnati moves forward. And let's just put them here. Paste. Who will face Cincinnati? That's the question. Well, we have a matchup that's seen quite a bit in the playoffs in recent times and in times of the past. The Cowboys versus the 49ers. And it's the 75 Cowboys, who are a wild card team who would lose to the Steelers, first wild card team to make it to the Super Bowl, against the 1994 San Francisco 49ers. I think that's the Jim Young team that crushed, was it the Chargers? Let's go to the Super Bowl chart. Yes, the Chargers. And that team, the 94 team, Jim Young had taken over at quarterback. They actually traded away Joe Montana to Kansas City. All right, so the 75 Cowboys have Goldie Richardson, Newhouse at running back, I think possibly Ronnie Springs, Staubach, Hill, Pearson. I think the 75 team is a team that went to Minnesota and upset the Vikings on the push-off Hail Mary. So on offense, they have a slight edge here. Sorry. No, they don't. I looked at the wrong numbers. The edge on defense and offense goes to the 94 San Francisco 49ers. Again, they were 13-3. We're in San Francisco. So the Cowboys will be white and white. The 49ers will be red and white on their dice. And who shall advance to face Cincinnati? We shall see in moments. That's the joy of quick play. It's actually kind of fun. I never thought I would like a game like this, but it's a pleasant little change of pace. Again, it's a ha-ha. It's fun to do and talk about. All right, we roll for defense. The Cowboys, a 32. What will Steve Young and Seifert was the coach then, get off the Dallas Doomsday defense? 32 for Dallas. 16 points. So a great start for Steve Young off the Dallas defense. 16 points on the 32. That's not boding well for the Cowboys. 55 for San Francisco's defense. Let's see what Roger Staubach can do on the 55. You know what? Dallas comes back with 10. So it's 16-10. We go to the offense. Again, this should favor Steve Young and the 49ers of 1994. We roll for the O and see who advances. A 42 for Staubach and the 75 wildcard Cowboys. A 42 on offense. 2 touchdowns. Not a bad result. 24 points for the 75 Cowboys. Could this be an upset? A 32 for Steve Young and the 94 San Francisco 49ers. 32. Nope, because they put up 21. So in a shootout in the second half, the 94 San Francisco 49ers defeat the 75 Dallas Cowboys. The man with the fedora shall not advance. Tom Landry's team will go home. 37-24. They beat him by 13, avenging a couple of early 70s losses that the 49ers faced over the Cowboys. So the 94 49ers advance, and they will play the Cincinnati Bengals, and they will be the home team. We'll set that up after. Now we move to game number 5, and we have the 1982 Dolphins, who were 7-2. That was a strike year. The Dolphins would lose and would win the AFC Championship 14-0 over the Jets in a rainstorm. I remember A.J. Dewey picking the ball off and running it back. Jets had a good team that year. That was a strike year, and they would lose to the Washington Redskins and Joe Theismann. Will face the 13-3 1992 Cowboys. These are the Jimmy Johnson Cowboys and the Barry Switzer Cowboys. This is that era. So you have Aikman, Emmitt Smith, Irving, and a good defense, and Harper was on that team. Tremendous. Moose Johnson. So the Dolphins of 82 are led by David Woodley, Don Strock. Woodley got the start in the Super Bowl. And a good running game and a stout defense. The Killer Bees. On defense, they have a slight edge, not much, 189 to 208. But on offense, again, the numbers might be skewed a little bit because of the strike, but there's no adjustment for this on the chart. So the offense edge definitely goes to the Emmitt Smith, Troy Aikman Cowboys of 1992. The Dolphins will be, we're going to change their dice color to aqua and white. The Cowboys will be white and white. Game from Dallas. We roll for the defense. I think the Dolphins have to get a decent number here because I don't think they'll hang on offense with David Woodley. The Dolphins on defense roll an 11. They only give up a field goal. They only give up a field goal to the 92 Cowboys, so that's a good result. The Cowboys on defense roll a 24, and the Dolphins can only muster an Uwe von Schamann field goal. I'm trying to remember who the kicker was for the Cowboys in 1992. I can see the guy, I just can't remember his name. So it's 3-3, and I think the advantage now goes to Dallas because we roll on the O and see who shall advance. A 45 for the Dolphins. They need a lot of ground and pound here. A 45, 13 points. Not a bad result. So it's 16 points for the Dolphins. Will that be enough to defeat the 1992 Cowboys? 61 on offense. No, it won't. The Cowboys put up 24 points and win quite handily, 27-16. So our prognostications came out correctly. A close game after the defensive role would favor the Cowboys of 1992, and that is just how it was and is. So the 1992 Cowboys advance with a victory over the runners-up in the 1982 Super Bowl season, the Dolphins. So Troy Aikman and the Cowboys move on. Copy and paste. And we'll pause for a brief moment as we are preparing for... Here's an eclectic matchup. If we've got the 1997 Green Bay Packers who lost to Denver. That's the first time Denver and John Elway would win a Super Bowl on a tremendous ground game. They would come back and beat Atlanta the next year, where Elway had a better game than he retired. Facing off against the 1986 Giants, so the 13-3 Packers of 1997 against the 14-2 Giants of 1986. The Giants would bludgeon the Denver Broncos. Phil Simms in that Super Bowl had the completion record that stood not too long, but he did break it in the 86 Super Bowl. The 97 Packers, you're talking about Brett Favre, White at defensive end, just a very good offensive team, and Reggie White really solidified the defense. And again, Brett Favre. The Giants, you're talking about a very good defense, Lawrence Taylor and company. I mean, just tremendous defense. And then on offense, Joe Morris, Mark Bavaro, Phil McConkey. Again, the defense carried them. They had a good ground game, and Phil Simms had a very good, solid year. So the defensive edge, it's not that much, but it is for the Giants. 223 compared to 242. Offense, Green Bay, 544, 426. Again, if this game is close, and it probably will be going to the offensive role, a slight edge to Favre in the 97 Packers. Let's go to the chat quickly. The Cubs and Bears says Bengals should be in black and white present uniforms. John St. Petit says the Cubs, as someone who lives there, I agree. Ooh. John St. Petit says, thanks. We're having a record night. My friend found a first pressing of Sgt. Pepper's in mono on wax. Cool, cool, cool. Excellent. All right, now let's change the colors. The Packers will be in yellow and white. The visiting team. And the Giants will be in blue and red. We rolled for defense. Again, I feel if it's close on defense, the Giants will be in trouble going into the offensive roll. Packers roll a 56. And the Giants can only muster a Joe Morris touchdown run. Extra point good. The Giants roll a 22. And that's not a good result. The Packers are able to put up 13 points on a very good Giant defense. So Favre finds a way. A touchdown pass and 2 field goals. The Packers are up 13-7. We go to the offensive roll. I feel this will favor the Packers now. The Packers roll a 13 on offense, put up another 13 points, 26 points for the Packers. Will it be enough? I think so. The Giants at 24, only 7, and they are out. So the 97 Packers, who had a much better offense and a defense just about as good, just slightly under, advance. That is a runner-up advancing. We don't see too much of that in this tournament so far, but it's happened. The Packers, 13-3, a runner-up in the Super Bowl against the Broncos, defeat the winners of the Super Bowl when the Giants defeated the Broncos. So the 97 Packers advance with a 26-14 victory over the 86 Giants. So the Packers move on. And now we have another Packers team, this time the 1966 Packers, the winner of Super Bowl I, and they have an adjustment of -3 points. Unlike 1977, the only 2 adjustment years that we have in the tournament, they have a +3. So they have a -3, and they're playing the 1992 Bills, who are looking for redemption. Now, the Bills were 11-5, and in 1992, they would lose to the Cowboys. Yes, because 90 they lost to the Giants, 91 the Redskins, and then 92 and 93 the Cowboys. They lost 4 consecutive Super Bowls. So the Bills' dice color will go to blue and red. The Packers, yellow and white. The 66 Packers, led by Vincent Thomas Lombardi as coach. Bart Starr. Boyd Dowler, Marv Fleming at tight end, an aging, actually Paul Hornung didn't play in the Super Bowl I, Jimmy Taylor, Elijah Pitts, a very stout defense. You had Herb Adderley, Willie Davis, Robinson at linebacker, Nitsky at linebacker. So many good players on the offensive line. Jerry Kramer, Fuzzy Thurston, Forrest Gregg, so on and so forth. Tremendous, tremendous team. The 66 Packers, 12-2, facing the Buffalo Bills, 11-5 of 1992. Defense, tremendous edge for the Packers, 171-280. Offense, you know what? A slight edge only for the 92 Bills, 482-435. So if the Packers keep it close on defense, they could eke one out here. And again, that -3, they have that -3 could come into play, and that would stink. But those, I went right off the roof. I was thinking about getting rid of that, just like I did when I did the North American tournament, but I kept it in for that tournament and this tournament. All right, we roll for defense. The Bills roll a 31 on defense. Packers can only muster a Jimmy Taylor touchdown, and that -3 is 4 points. Again, it's just an adjustment, but it is a Jim Taylor touchdown. The Packers on defense roll a 42, and they shut down the Bills. That mighty Packer defense shuts down the Bills. Thurman Thomas and company and Jim Kelly are just smothered under, beaten, bludgeoned, and battered. So 4-0 because of the adjustment, and now we go to offense. Bart Starr and Vince Lombardi, can they scheme something? Can the power sweep and the power running game of the Packers and the deep passing off the play-action fake defeat Bruce Smith and the defense. We shall see. We roll for offense and who shall advance. Buffalo Bills, 31 on offense. A huge effort by Kelly, Thurman Thomas, and many, many more. They put up 24 points. They have a 20-point lead, and now the Packers on a 15. 21 points as Bart Starr leads a last-minute drive. He hits an aging Max McGee on a slant, and the Packers win by 1, 25-24. A 15, 21 points the Packers put up on offense. What a comeback drive, like the Ice Bowl. So the Packers of 1966 advance over the 1992 Buffalo Bills, and bye-bye go the Bills once again in a big game. 25-24 as they carry Vince Lombardi off the field, but Lombardi says there's more work to be done. A huge win for the Packers. Let's double check again. 31 for Buffalo on offense, 24. We thought that was enough, but remember, they were shut out by the Packers defense. So it was 24-4 because of the adjustment. Packers rolled a 15. 3 touchdowns. Star to Dowler. Star to Pitts out of the backfield. And then, at the end, Star to the aging Max McGee on a slant. He beat his defender. The Packers win 25-24 in a tremendous battle here at Lambeau Field. So the 66 Packers advance with a hard-fought battle over the 92 Buffalo Bills. And now we move to the last game of bracket number 2. Remember, bracket 1 is complete, and it's up on the channel on demand now. We shall not spoil it. So in the last game of bracket 2, round 1, we have the 1971 Dolphins, who got bludgeoned by the Cowboys in the Super Bowl. 10-3-1, their first Super Bowl appearance, against the 15-1 San Francisco 49ers, Joe Montana and Bill Walsh at the helm as coach. So you have Don Shula taking on Bill Walsh. And it happened before. Remember Marino and Montana. But this is going to be Bob Greasy and a ground and pound Dolphins of Kick, Morris, and Zonka. And the no-name defense taking on the one-loss 15-1 Joe Montana-led juggernaut offense, 1984 San Francisco 49ers. In 84, the 49ers would beat Dan Marino and the Dolphins. The Dolphins would score first in 84, and then didn't go so bueno as the 49ers poured it on. Can the 71 Dolphins take revenge on the 84 49ers? We shall see in moments. The Dolphins' dice color will go aqua and white. And to Dolphins fans, that makes everything nice. The 49ers will be red and white because there's no sort of gold color. We roll for defense. Now, the defensive edge, a slight edge to the 71 Dolphins, 201 to 225. But the offense, 580 for the 84 49ers against 444 of the Dolphins. Again, I think the Dolphins have to come out of the defense pretty good here. If not, it heavily favored the offensive role for the 49ers. We roll for the defense. Dolphins roll a 52 and only a Ray Wersching field goal for the 49ers. As they get 3 points off the Dolphins defense. The 49ers roll a 32 and a run by Mercury Morris. He pops to the outside. He goes for the long distance. Extra point by Garrel. Your premium's good. That's how they score. So it's 7-3. Dolphins with an edge, but not big enough in my opinion. I believe the 49ers will take the day on the offensive roll. Let's double check once again. 52 for the Dolphins on defense. Field goal for the 49ers. A 32 for the 49ers on defense. 32. Touchdown 7 points in the extra point. All right, here we go. We roll for the O. Who shall advance to round 2 in bracket 2? Dolphins, 51 on the offense, 10 points. A short touchdown play. And OBS has reconnected. Thank you, OBS. 53 by the San Francisco 49ers. That's only 13 points, folks. In a shocking upset, the 71 Dolphins defeat the 15-1 1984 49ers 17-16. And Don Shula rejoices as we've gone offline. That's awesome sauce. It says we're streaming. And let's hit the refresh button on the Kindle. Amish Elvis is in the chat if anyone can hear me. Did the cable stream go out? It says we're offline. I don't understand how we can be offline if it says we're streaming. Alrighty. We can hear you. Can you see? Amish Elvis says we can hear you. Can you still see the stream? I am not seeing the stream on my second screen. Okay, we'll continue on. Thank you, Kindle, for foo-barring my second screen. I can continue to read the chat. Why it will not let me see what's going on, I don't know. So we shall continue. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for the feedback. We'll have to take care of those technical difficulties later. So we can still see the chat, but I cannot. Oh, now it says it's going to go. All right, whatever. The important thing is we can play on. The joys of live streaming. I love it. It's fun. That's why I do it, actually. All right, back to the game. So, I don't know if you saw it, but the 71 Dolphins upset the 84, 49ers. The 15-1 49ers, Joe Montana and Bill Walsh out to the ground and pound 71 Dolphins of Don Shula. Run and play defense. So they advance to round number 2. All right, so the teams in round 2, as we can witness, we'll get the pairings and set up the scoreboard. So a little accounting here. So we have the 12-2 runners-up of 1973, the Vikings taking on. It's a rematch of the Super Bowl. So the Dolphins will be the home team here. Okay. Now, then we have, let's bring these guys up here. We have Cincinnati of 1981, who defeated the 74 Steelers, taking on the 1994 49ers and Steve Young, who took over for Joe Montana. And then we have the 13-3 1992 Cowboys taking on the 1997 Packers. The Cowboys will be the home team. Bring that up. And the Packers will be the visiting team. They are the Super Bowl runners-up. Runners-up will always be the visiting team unless they play another runner-up, and then it just goes off who has the better record. And now we have the 66 Packers. So it's going to be Lombardi versus Shula. The 66 Packers versus the 71 Dolphins, who just upset the 84 49ers 17-6. And we're going to give that. The Packers have a 12-2 record, so they're going to have the home field. And we could have a Packer matchup in the next round. Favre versus Starr. And now the Dolphins. Some of these cards are slightly bigger than the others. All right, so that's what we have here. Our first matchup, a rematch of the Super Bowl, 1973, and that was Super Bowl 8. Dolphins, Vikings. Dolphins beat them 24-7. So that's going to be interesting. Go back to bracket 2 and we'll do this. We'll set up the scoreboard. Bear with me a moment. Well, then we'll go to the chat before we start. Hope everyone's enjoying our fun little tournament. Again, this is just for enjoyment and discussion. No one needs to get bent out of shape if you're, well, you can get a little bent out of shape, I guess, if your team loses. But it's for enjoyment and discussion. Copy, paste. Vikings is 73. Now we change this to the 73 Miami Dolphins. MIA. And that will be zeros. No adjustments here. So that scoreboard is set. And now, let's do this one here. Cincinnati of 81 versus the 94 49ers. Copy. And paste. And this will be the 94 San Francisco 49ers. Again, fun little quick play football. You can come up with all kinds of fun tournaments. You can replay seasons. Again, it's a quick little thing. It's different. It's a nice distraction from the other games I play. A pleasant distraction. So now we have the 97 Cowboys versus the 97 Packers versus the 92 Cowboys. And where are the 97 Packers? They're down there. Let's do this one here. Dallas defeated the 82 Dolphins to advance. Copy. Paste. Dallas is all set. Have to change this to the 97 Green Bay Packers. That's good. Clear the scoreboard. And one more. We've reached the Elite 8. 71 Dolphins versus the 66 Packers. Shula versus Lombardi. And again, the 66 team has that -3 adjustment. And they won 25-24 over the 92 Buffalo Bills, so no redemption for that Buffalo Bills team. Go here and paste. This will be the 71 Miami Dolphins. And we clear the scoreboard. Will that -3 adjustment come into play? I mean, it always does, but will it cost them a victory? Remember, in our North American tournament with the NFL, AFL, and Canadian Football League, 2 Canadian Football Leagues with a +3 advanced in the tournament. Another fun tournament. It's up on the channel using quick play football. And this, I believe it's Mike Seelock. The game's 2-minute warning. Mike Seelock developed this game. It's free on that Field of Dreams replay site. All right, so here we go. And let's bring this back a bit. Second round, bracket 2, first matchup, 73 Dolphins versus the 73 Vikings, Super Bowl 8, I think I said it was, a rematch. Here we go. Alicia Kingston, how you doing? Thank you for joining us. Hope all is well. And the Vikings will be purple and white, their dice roll. And the Dolphins, aqua and white. So a rematch, an actual rematch of the Super Bowl of 1973. Vikings, Fran Tarkenton, Chuck Foreman, Ed Marinaro. Tremendous defensive line. Ellard, Page, Marshall. Oh, I always forget the fourth guy. Hillenberg at linebacker. Kraus at safety. Very good defensive team. Against the 73 Dolphins, Greasy, Warfield, Zonka, Kick, Mercury Morris, and the no-name defense. Manny Fernandez, Nick Bonacani, Scott at safety. So many good players. Defense, 136 for the Vikings, 137 for the Dolphins. Offense, Vikings, 372. Dolphins, 472. So there's the edge on offense right there. The Vikings have to somehow do their job on defense. Give up pretty much nothing to the Dolphins and hope the Dolphins have a slight off day on defense. We roll for defense. 26. The Vikings roll a 26. And they shut down the ground and pound. They shut down the ground and pound of Kick, Morris, and Zonka. No points on the 26. So the Purple People Eaters brunch on the Dolphins. The Dolphins roll a 24. Oh, that's offense. Sorry. And no points. No points. So what's good for the goose is good for the gander. No one can get their offensive going against either side's defense. No points are scored. It comes to the roll for O, and who will go to the Final Four? Vikings, green and white. Dolphins, aqua and white. Vikings, 62 on offense. 62. 2 touchdowns. 2 touchdowns. 14 points. Will that be enough for the Vikings to avenge what really happened? A loss in 73 to the Dolphins. So that's 14. 2 Chuck Foreman touchdowns. 1 running. 1 via the reception. The Dolphins, 13. 13! And the Minnesota Vikings hang on by their hair of their chinny chin chin. 14-13. Vikings fans will love this. They avenge, in our little tournament, the actual loss in the Super Bowl, as they lost 24-7, I think I said. 14-13. Let's double check on the offense. Remember the defense, neither defense yield any points. It was 0-0. We went to the offensive roll. Vikings, 62. 14 points. 2 Chuck Foreman touchdowns. 1 rushing, 1 receiving. Dolphins, 13. A 13 is 13 points. The Dolphins do not advance. The Vikings move on. So a runner-up in the Super Bowl will reach the Final Four in Bracket 2. Remember, Bracket 1 is already up on the channel. We're going to do Bracket 2, and tomorrow we'll come back with Brackets 3 and 4 most likely, if all goes well. Wow, so that's an upset. Now, we move on to the 81 Bengals against the 1994 San Francisco 49ers. So you have Kenny Anderson, Pete Johnson, Chris Collinsworth, the coach, former Green Bay Packer Forrest Gregg, taking on Jim Young, and at quarterback. Remember, they traded Joe Montana away to Kansas City, and Seifert, I believe, is now the coach in 1994. The Bengals, we're going to go with the Cubs, the Bears. He wants black and white for the Bengals. And you can read the chat for the reason why. And the 49ers will be red and white. Defense, Bengals, 295 compared to 269 for the 49ers. Offense, 621 for the 49ers compared to the 532 on their card. So a slight edge on offense. Actually, a decent edge on offense. And a slight edge on defense. So it's going to be an uphill battle, in my opinion, for the Bengals. We roll for defense. Bengals roll a 34. And the 49ers of 1994, touchdown. A Roger Craig touchdown and a field goal. 10 points for the 49ers. The 49ers on defense, 44. They limit the 81 Bengals to a Jim Breach field goal. 10-3. This would be a tremendous advantage for the 49ers here. Tremendous advantage. We roll for the offense. 62 for the Bengals on offense. Is it a big enough effort? Had they rolled a 63, it would have been 21, but they rolled a 62 on offense. 10 points. 13 points the Bengals put up. So Kenny Anderson, Pete Johnson and company put up 13 points. They also had Archie Griffin, the former Heisman Trophy winner, on that team. 51 for the 49ers. 14 points. The 49ers advance. Young throws 2 touchdowns to Jerry Rice. 24-13. So the 49ers easily handle, not as close as the score indicated, easily handles the Cincinnati Bengals of 81. They shall advance. The 94 49ers advance to the Final Four of Bracket 2. After this, we have 2 more brackets. We'll complete them tomorrow. So it's going to be the Vikings of 73 traveling to San Francisco and facing the 94 49ers. And let's just put that up there. Alrighty. Now we move to another epic matchup. The 97 Packers versus the 92 Cowboys. A battle throughout the ages, Packers-Cowboys. The Packers will be yellow and white. The Cowboys will be white and white. The game is played in Dallas. So you have Brett Favre taking on Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, Michael Irving, and company. Can Reggie White have a big day at defensive end? Needs to get some sacks here. Defense for the Packers, 242. The Cowboys, 208. Edge Cowboys. Offense, a slight edge to the Packers, 544, 531. So the Packers need a tremendous defensive effort. If it's close, I think the Cowboys could take it if it's close, but the Packers have some big numbers on offense. We roll for defense. Packers a 31. Let's see what Emmitt Smith and Troy Aikman can do off that defense. 31. They get 31. Only a field goal. So the Packers do their job. Reggie White providing pressure on Aikman. Inspires, only 3 points, Al. 31, a field goal. 21 for Dallas. 2 field goals for the Packers. So it's 6-3. Game's up for grabs on the offensive roll. Slight edge goes to the Packers. 544 to 531. Re-roll for the O and see who advances. A 34 for the Packers on offense. Only a touchdown. Only a touchdown. Brett Favre throws a touchdown. Extra point good. 13 points for the Packers. The Cowboys, 43. The Cowboys, 2 touchdowns. Emmitt Smith on a touchdown run and a touchdown pass to Jay Novacek, I believe was the tight end. And it's 17-13. The 92 Cowboys defeat the 97 Packers. So Aikman over Favre. So Troy Aikman and the Cowboys advance to the Final Four. 17-13. Let's just bring them over here. And we'll make it pretty after. So the final game in the Elite Eight pits the 1971 Don Shula-led Dolphins, who were runners-up into the Super Bowl, to the Cowboys against Super Bowl I champions Vince Lombardi and the Green Bay Packers. Defense for the Dolphins, 201. Defense for the Packers, 171. Packers have a -3 adjustment on their score. Offense, 444 for the Dolphins of 71. 435 for the 66 Packers. Dolphins will be aqua and white for dice, hoping everything will be nice. The Packers, yellow and white. Will the Packers dine on Dolphin? We shall see. We will roll for the defense. 56 for the 71 Dolphins. 56. Only a field goal. Only a Don Chandler field goal for the 66 Packers and Vince Lombardi. They'll have to come up huge on offense. Bart Starr now. As that is nothing. So the field goal is nullified by the 3-point adjustment. So they have no score right now. Not good for the Packers. 66 for the Packers on defense. And it's only a Gerald Yepremian field goal. And due to the adjustment, it's 3-0 71 Dolphins. We roll for the O and see who advances to face the 92 Cowboys. Will it be the 71 Dolphins and Don Shula? Or the Super Bowl I champions? Vince Lombardi, the man, the coach, who the trophy's named after. And the Packers. Offensive roll. 15 for the Dolphins. That's a huge effort. 17 points. I don't think the Packers can overcome that. That's 20 points. Zonka and Kicks score on runs. Yepremian kicks a field goal. The Packers are 21. It's only 13 points. The adjustment, even if it wasn't there, would have only been 16. The Packers lose as Starr throws an interception on a drive at the end trying to tie it. Scott, the safety, picks it off, and the Dolphins run the clock out. So the 66 Packers are gone. So 2 Packers teams fall in the round of 8. And it will be the 71 Dolphins taking on. It'll be an uphill battle against the 92 Cowboys. Lombardi and Shula shake hands. So now the Cowboys will be the home team. Let's put that here. So we have our final 4 set. Let's take a look at it, and then we'll set the scoreboards, and we'll play on. Oops, that's too far down. Let's bring this down a little bit. That's too far up. Let's make that here, and make that here. Yeah, give it a little space. So, in the first Final Four matchup, the 73 Dolphins, the 73 Vikings, who upset the 73 Dolphins 14-13, take on the 1994-led San Francisco 49ers by Jim Young. They've had pretty much an easy cakewalk. And then in the second semifinal in bracket 2, the 71 Dolphins, who just defeated the 66 Packers, take on the 1992 Dallas Cowboys. And again, I think the Cowboys and 49ers are going to be very good favorites in this matchup due to their tremendous offensive output. Vikings will have to be stout on defense with their 136 against the 269. But they can't compete with the 94 49ers on offense, 621 to 372. Let's set up the scoreboard, and we'll roll the semifinals and then the final for the bracket. And then call it a stream. Copy. Paste. 94 San Francisco 49ers. Clear the board. So the scoreboard will read 0. We are in the semifinals now. And now let's set up Dolphins Cowboys. Let's use this one here. Copy, paste. That's a 71 Miami Dolphins. Clear the scoreboard. Here we go. Here we go. And let's bring this more this way. Alrighty. So the Minnesota will be purple and white. Actually, Minnesota's going to go with purple and purple. They're going to switch it up. They need some luck, a lot of luck here. And the 49ers will go red and white. Minnesota wants to go with purple and purple, the purple gang, the purple people eaters. They have to shut down Jim Young and the San Francisco juggernaut offense. Remember that defense, 136 to 269. They have to make some hay here. They have to give up 3 or less, in my opinion, and get about 10 off the San Francisco defense. We roll for defense. 26 for the Vikings with a purple and purple help. 26. Yes, it does. They shut down the 1994 49ers. No score. The front four do a job on the very mobile Steve Young. He can run, but he could not hide. Sacked several times. And now a 13. Oops. 0 there. Delete that. So a 13 on the San Francisco defense. And they got what they wanted. 2 touchdowns. 14-0 Vikings. That's what they needed. And it's the unlikely Ed Marinaro sneaking out of the backfield twice on the wheel play, burning San Francisco. Basically the same play, but opposite sides. Cox extra points, 14-0. Ed Marinaro and Fran Tarkenton hook up twice. Ed Marinaro, the unsung hero of this game right now. But the big heroes, the Vikings purple gang. Ellard, Marshall, Page. I think the other guy was Larson. The linebackers, Hillenberg, Kraus. Oh, tremendous defense across the board. 14-0. That's what the Vikings needed. Now, can San Francisco get a huge offensive effort on their roll for offense? Vikings want to keep it close here. Can Steve Young, after a battering, come back? Here's the roll for the O and who advances to the finals of Bracket 2. 54 for Tarkenton and the 73 Vikings. 54. Another 14 points. So Fran Tarkenton finds Jim Gilliam deep. Was it Gilliam on that team? John Gilliam. Or did they have Washington then? Anyway, he hits Gilliam deep. We'll say Gilliam. And Chuck Foreman plunges in from in close. Extra points are both good. 28 points. That's a lot of points for this Vikings team. 28 points. 64 for the 49ers. They need 4 touchdowns to force overtime. 64. 64, folks. It's a 2. But a 4. They will fall 4 points short. Fran Tarkenton and the Minnesota Vikings of 1973. The Vikings, 4 Super Bowl teams that failed. 1 led by Joe Kapp, 3 led by Fran Tarkenton. The 73 Vikings continue the road to redemption for that franchise with a shocking 28-24 victory. Steve Young mounts a frenzied comeback, but not frenzied enough. They lose by 4. We will double check. A 64 is 24 points. Normally that would be good enough to win, but the defense shut them down early. And that's what we said we needed. And the purple and purple dice do it for Fran Tarkenton. Yes! Kind of psyched about that. I did like Fran Tarkenton a lot. So, the unlikely heroes of the 73 Vikings advance to the Bracket 2 finals. The winner will advance to the Final Four in the overall tournament. Bracket 1 is done. It's up on the channel now. Check it out after. So the Vikings, who will they face? Who will the Vikings face? That's the question, folks. We will find out in moments. What an effort by Fran Tarkenton. He threw 3 touchdown passes, 2 to Marinaro, 1 to Gilliam, and Foreman plunged in from 4 yards out to shock the 94 49ers home. The fans are stunned. Their jaws are dropped. Now, who will they face? Who will they face, folks? That's the question. The 71 Dolphins upstarts who got crushed by the Cowboys in 71. Now they're looking for revenge against the 92 Cowboys. Dolphins dice rolls will they go with the double aqua? They're going to go double aqua. They're looking for the upset. Just like the Vikings went double purple. The Cowboys will go double white. Dolphins 201 on defense. Cowboys 208. Not a lot of difference there. The difference is on offense. 1992 Cowboys 531 versus the 444. Again, same scenario. The Dolphins have to come up big on defense. Collectaholic is here in the chat. How you doing, my friend? Check out that wonderful channel. There we go. We roll for defense. Dolphins need a big effort. They need a shutout. They need to score off the Dallas defense, which is not easy. A 23 for the Dolphins. A 23. The Cowboys sustained 3 good drives but are stymied in the red zone, and they have to settle for 3 field goals. So that's 9-0 Dallas. I don't think that's a good enough effort, even though it's a tremendous effort, but it's 9-0. A 35 for the Cowboys defense. What can the ground and pound of Kick, Zonka, and Mercury Morris do for the Dolphins on a 35? They are shut down completely. The new Doomsday defense gives up nothing. 9-0 Dallas. So Dallas with a good chance to move on to face a longtime rival in the finals of Bracket 2, the Vikings. Again, the offensive role should tremendously favor the Cowboys. We roll for the O, and the Dolphins need a miracle. A 45 on offense, 13 points. They need a dreadful result for the Cowboys. 23. 17 points. The Cowboys again show their merit. 26-13. They cover the spread. They win by 13 points. Aikman to Irvin twice. Then a field goal. So 4 field goals kicked. 26-13. The Cowboys steamrolling their way to the Bracket 2 finals against the 73 Vikings. So the finals coming up in moments. Yeah, let's bring that. Actually, that's good right there, right? Yes. And bring that here. Paste and move that here. So the 73 Vikings, 12-2. They lost in the Super Bowl to the Dolphins. They avenged that in Bracket 2 as they actually faced their Super Bowl nemesis in 73. Now face off against the 1992 Cowboys, who pretty much have had a cakewalk, really. How did they get here, you say? Well, I'll tell you how they got here. The Vikings shocked the Redskins 17-10. They would then move on to win another shocker, 14-13, over the 73 Dolphins, avenging their actual Super Bowl defeat. And then, in the ultimate shocker, 28-24, Tarkinen throws 3 touchdown passes. Foreman runs for another. The defense on the defensive role shut down the 49ers. Young mounts a tremendous comeback, but 4 points too short. And now they're in the championship game. How did the Cowboys get here, you say? Well, I'll tell you. The 92 Cowboys, 13-3, easily handled the 82 Dolphins 27-16. They then would defeat the 97 Packers by 4, 17-13. Aikman with a good second half. And then again beat a different Dolphin team, the 71 Dolphins, by 13, 26-13. And now they face off in the Bracket 2 Championship. The winner advances to the overall tournament Final Four. Remember, Bracket 1, the champion has already been determined in Bracket 1. It's up on the channel. And who will move on? So there's already one team in the Final Four. And now we will seek the other team in Bracket 2. Brackets 3 and 4 will be played tomorrow. Definitely Bracket 3. So the Vikings will go, and we'll move the scoreboard over in a minute, but they're going to go double purple again. They're going to go double purple dice. Gave them great luck, tremendous defense. Dallas will stick with their white and white. Now we'll move the scoreboard over as the Vikings travel to Dallas. Anxious moments here for the Bracket 2 Championship. The winner advances to the Final Four overall in our tournament. The scoreboard is moved over. Dallas Stadium is hopping. So this is the 92 Dallas Cowboys at home looking to advance. taking on the 73 Dolphins with Fran Tarkenton and company and the Purple Gang. Defense needs to come up stout once again. Can they do it? They want to avenge that 1975 defeat in Bloomington, Minnesota. The Hail Mary, the push-off, as Viking fans will remember it. All right. So it's Aikman versus Tarkenton, Foreman versus Emmitt Smith, Irvin Fryer and company versus John Gilliam and friends. It's the Purple People Eaters. Marshall, Page, Ellard, Larson, Hillenberg, Kraus versus that Dallas new doomsday defense. I want to say Haley's on that team. I think Haley came over. Did he come over by that 49? Yes, because then he went to the 49ers. I think that's the way it went. Deion Sanders, I think, is that corner on that. It's just a great teams, those Dallas teams. All right, here we go. Let's move this down this way. Bracket 2 championship, folks. Bracket 2 championships. Let's go to the chat quickly. Dave Gardner says, this is a fun little game. It is. There's so many scenarios you can play in. I'd like to thank Dave Gardner and for showing us some of these quick play games. And it made me look for them. I think he did play this one. I'm almost positive he played. This is my favorite quick play game. He played the baseball one, so check that out. I like the hockey. I'll do a little hockey. Baseball one's a little more... it's quick play, but there's a little more to it. And I have to look at the rules too much, even though it's quick play. As the Cubs and Bears says, sure glad I didn't bet on these games. Would have lost bigly. Yeah, a few upsets here. All right, well, here's the final. Thank you, everyone else, for joining. Remember to check out all the wonderful content creators like Dave Gardner. Also, check out Digital Dice. I just listened to his last pod. I think I missed one podcast. I got to go back. I think I missed one. But this last one was great. Projects. They talked about projects again that you put on the back burners, but they talked about games you play besides sports sims. It was a lot of him and Uncle Ron do a great job on that. And also check out Collectaholics and Clinton Parks, Thrice Aroni, Alicia Kingston, John St. Baptiste. Thank you very much, everyone. All right, here we go. The finals. No, the Dolphins lost the Super Bowl in 82. The Redskins beat them. The Dolphins won the 72 Super Bowl. They beat the Redskins in 72. They lost to them in 82. That's the undefeated season. All right, here we go again. Vikings 136 on defense compared to the Cowboys 208 on their card. And then on offense 372. This is where, again, tremendous advantage to the 92 Cowboys. So the Vikings have to come up like they did against the 94 49ers. They have to practically give up, I'd say, at 3 at the most or nothing. And then Tarkenton, can he have another tremendous effort? He threw 3 touchdowns against the 94 49ers. Here we go. The roll for defense. 66! And they hold this tremendous Dallas offense to a field goal. And it was begrudgingly. I didn't say that word right. 3 points. Dallas 43 on defense. 3 points. So the teams trade field goal salvos. It's 3-3. This is a tremendous favor for the Cowboys. Bracket 2 championship comes down to the offensive role. It's a 3-3 game right now. The pressure is on Tarkenton. The pressure is on Aikman. They both have the tools to win. But one team just scores more. I have to begrudgingly favor the Cowboys. I want Fran, the Georgia Peach, to come through here. If God is a Vikings fan, they shall win. The roll for O and the Bracket 2 championship. And 11, they're not going to win, folks. That's only a touchdown. A flare pass to Chuck Foreman, who takes it in from 27 yards out. The extra point by Cox is good. That's 10. A 22 for the Cowboys. They only score 7 points. We go to overtime. Deja vu all over again. You know what I mean if you were with me earlier. It is 10-10. A last-second touchdown. Aikman hits Michael Irvin in the corner The extra point is good. The Vikings complaining that Irving pushed off. No flag on the play, folks. Replay shows a questionable possible call there. It's 10-10, so let's double check. 7 points on offense for the Vikings. 22 for the Cowboys of 1992. 7 points. We now move to overtime. Now in overtime, we just roll and it goes off the offensive column. The higher point total wins. If it's under 10 points, it's a game-winning field goal in overtime. If it's over 10 points, it's a touchdown. You don't have to kick the extra point. Obviously, sudden death. We play sudden death. It's old school, people. Old school. Sudden death, the way it should be. None of the and college overtime rule sucks. Here's how I would change everyone's overtime rule. You play 8 minutes. You play a full 8 minutes. Pros in college. If it's not a playoff game or a bowl game, at the end of 8 minutes, it's a freaking tie. I love ties. Ties are cool. You don't see them a lot. They're interesting. Nothing wrong with a freaking tie. They don't happen a lot. You should play 8 minutes. Now, if it's a bowl game or a playoff game, and in college they have a conference championship, so we'd consider that a playoff game in college. If it's that type of situation, after 8 minutes, you play another 7 minutes. You could go like 7.5 and 7.5. And that's sudden death, the second one. And then after that, it's just sudden death. That would be a better way for the playoffs. That's just my opinion. Extra overtime. The Cubs and Bears said, if God was a Vikings fan, they would have not lost every time in a Super Bowl. You're right. You're right. Ooh, Dave Gardner says, I did the 83 season. Dolphins won it all. Oh, okay. Do you mean, did they also win when you... I did the 74 Patriots replay. I posted in Discord. That was a lot of fun. We were 2 games better than they actually were. And that's not unrealistic because they lost a lot of close games, the 74 Patriots, at the end. They finished 7-7. We had them going 9-5, I think it was. They got crushed by the Raiders in the playoffs. That was a lot of fun. The game's a lot of fun. Those results were not unrealistic, in my opinion. Go back. I know the 74 Patriots. Go back. You can look in Football Reference. They lost a ton of close games at the end. They were 6-1 at one point. So, okay, we go to overtime. Let's set it up. I'm gonna have to move. Let's do this down here. I'm moving my ball roller, but yours stays put because of the way it's set up in OBS. Now, how did I do? Okay, now I'm going to set this up as the overtime roll. These are the overtime rolls. These are not... no, I'm going to set the overtime rolls up here. I'm trying to remember how I did this. So these will be the overtime rolls. OT rolls. That's the way I did, I remember. And overtime. Okay, that's how we did it. All right, here we go. Again, this goes off the offensive column. The winner in overtime, it's 10-10. A defensive slobber knocker here in Dallas. Again, blood, sweat, tears, snot, and all that good stuff. Mucus all over the field. Women, hide your faces and the children. It comes down to this. Can Tarkenton and the Vikings outduel Aikman and the Cowboys? 73 Vikings, 92 Cowboys. We roll on the offense. Oh, my Lord, an 11 and a 66. Holy poop. So, the offensive roll, we already know that's a 7 for the Vikings, and a 66 for the Cowboys. A 10. The Cowboys kick the game-winning field goal in sudden death, and they will win 13-10. So the Vikings, as the Cubs, the Bears said, God is not a Vikings fan. Another crushing defeat for the Vikings in a big game. And let's center that. Let's just put a quick formula in here. Again, it just goes off the roll. That's not, they didn't score 10 and 7 points. It's just the roll. Let's center that too. I don't like the way that looks. And that should be actually over here. Cut. Paste. There we go. There we go. So, the 92 Cowboys defeat the 73 Vikings in overtime on the field goal. And that's 13-10. And we'll set up the formula here. Oops. Cancel. What the fudge? Oh. I did that wrong. What? That should be right. Escape. Formula. Oh, that's why. It should be like this. Enter. There we go. Center that. 13-10. Cowboys. How about them Cowboys, as they say? So the Cowboys of 1992 win the bracket championship. They advance to the Final Four. So bracket 1 champion we have up on the channel. Check it out. We have bracket 2 champion now, the 1992 Cowboys. And we'll center that. So they win in overtime. Another thriller. Again, these are just the overtime rolls. The score is here, 13-10. So bracket 1 and 2 are complete. We'll do bracket 3 and 4 tomorrow, as my girlfriend Teresa is bowling, so I probably can do both brackets 1 and 2. This is, I believe it's called the 2-minute drill, Mike Seelock. I call it quick play football. We did 16 games. I talked a little more than I probably should have in an hour and 21 minutes. The Cubs and Bears is fun game. Look forward to the next rounds. They're a lot of fun. Dave Gardner. I did Mike Seelock hit and run, I think, was for, yes, you did. That's a little more, slightly more complicated. Not complicated, it's not the right. A little more into that. It ran hot and cold, I thought. The hit and run baseball. I fooled around with it a bit. The football is really easy and quick to understand. You play a couple of games, you have it down. So, thank you to the Cubs and Bears. Thank you to Dave Gardner. Check out Digital to Dice podcast. Check out the Facebook page for that. HockeyTournaments.com. Check out his YouTube channel. Also, check out Retro Sports Network with his partner in crime, Uncle Ron Juckett. Thank you to Clinton Parks. Please check out his channel. The Cubs and Bears, as always, wonderful to have you in chat. Collectaholic, wonderful card collecting channel. Amish Elvis, good friend to all. Thank you very much, my friend. Alicia Kingston, great to see you. Check out her channel. Check out John St. Baptiste and Johnny Be Crazy and Cylon Johns. And Thrice Aroni, a card collecting treat. Thank you very much, everyone. Hope you all enjoyed it. Brackets 3 and 4 tomorrow. Bracket 1 is up on the channel now. We have 2 bracket champion winners, 1 and 2. We just did bracket 2. So there's 2 more brackets to go, and we'll have the final 4 set. So take care. Till next time. Thank you. Bye-bye. Health and happiness. God bless, and you know what's coming, folks. Peace!